Whew. What's going on, people? Sorry for the late start today. Been up since let's see, I guess I've been up since about 3 a.m. my time, traveling to get back from the holiday weekend. So I'm running a little late, a few accidents on the road in Los Angeles, and a bit of a late start today. So my apologies. Let's jump right into it. I think today, doing a little bit of environment stuff last few weeks, some hard surface stuff, mostly just Q modeler stuff, or Z modeler stuff. We'll just do some organic stuff today. Why not? What's up, Kingsley? I was visiting my wife's family in Cleveland, Ohio. Lovely Cleveland. Hello? There we go. Yeah, I'll bet. I was good. I was glad to get out of there. Luckily, because the long weekend, everybody was kind of everybody's left town on like Friday of last week, so I didn't actually leave town until Monday, which meant traveling was actually quite easy, thankfully. Let's bring this concept up here. Did a sketch of a character that I want to do, so I figure I'll just maybe do some bust sculpts, see if I can get a good face down for him, get a little personality. It's always good to start with the face when you do character stuff. So let's bring this concept here. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn the music down. There we go. Good looking out, Kingsley. I usually keep it down right around here. I just forgot to after I came on. What's up, Reclusive Raichu? Yeah, I'm gonna fire up some character busts today. So for now, I think I'll probably just work on the face. I don't really think I need to work on a whole bust. I think I'm just gonna pull out sort of I have an idea of what I think I want the face to be. So I'm just going to pull out some Dynamesh clay. Kind of want to do like an older dude. Kind of like, if you ever saw... What's up, Lance? How you doing? I want to do something kind of exaggerated. This is an old guy from an episode of Seinfeld. I kind of have in my head, like that guy right there. I think that's a pretty solid. You know, he's a pretty exaggerated, bushy-looking old man. That's kind of the look I'm going for. A few things about when you sculpt old people is that their noses and their ears. There's like the two of the things on the human body that continue to grow throughout our whole lives. Like a lot of things stop growing, but noses and ears do not. So for that reason, you know, when you see old characters, they tend to have, you know, big ears, big nose. It's like a key selling point of kind of exaggerated, stylized work. On the other hand, babies, children, young characters will tend to have really, really tiny features in that regard. is a good time to have perspective on, because usually when I'm doing mechanical stuff, I'll keep perspective camera off. I like to see the sort of parallel lines. I like to see the sort of isometric views, so to speak, without perspective distortion. But with characters, when you're looking at a human, it's usually better to see all that stuff. Some nice rosy old man cheeks, maybe some sort of blush red with gin. Jowly. He already kind of has it looking like, eh. You know, the blends, I don't use red wax that often. I just don't mind it as much as most people do. I'll switch it off because people tend to not like it that much, but it's certainly not something that I'm as opposed to as most people. I know it like highlights the crevices more and has that cavity masking, that cavity enhancement stuff, but I actually kind of prefer that. Because again, same thing with working with perspective or not. People always ask me like why I don't work with perspective more often, and I get asked about the red wax material a lot too, and I think this answer is kind of the same. It's like I don't have a problem. Like I know what I'm seeing is a bit of an illusion, and like not to trust it. And it's like whenever I'm like working towards the end of stuff, you know, I'll try a few different materials, see where there might be some details that I missed from before. Matte Crepe Gray is probably my go-to. But yeah, typically I don't mind the red wax as much. Fake Sweet, thanks. I'll link you my Gumroad right there. Has a free download link to the UI. Although I think that's my, I think that's only my 1080p one. This one's a 1440p one, so I'm still in the process of adding it. I have one or two more UI issues I want to sort out before I add the 1440 to that download. Yeah. This clay round brush, I got off of one of Pavlovich's streams. She says this is Mike Pavlovich, one of the other instructors here. Really, really great ZBrush instructor, just in general. He's been doing it a really long time. This is like his main build-up brush. It's like just a rounder version of a clay or clay tubes. Yeah, I like it. It's good. It's really good for the early stages. It's not too. It doesn't come with a lot of this grainy stuff that the clay tubes does. Clay tubes is probably my favorite builder because I like just hacking away at it and stroke, building it out. You know, being a little dramatic with it. So this brush is a lot like that, but you can do it a little bit more rounder. It's just a little bit. You know. in the organic stages of things, I think it works really well. Yeah, I don't write code as much anymore, unfortunately, Blands. I think I suppose the good thing is that I still can when I need to. Every now and then there's like a little gameplay issue, and my partner Jay will be busy on something, and I can just swoop in and knock it out. It's not too. Actually, no. I mean, like I can still comprehend and read all the code. I mean, like it's kind of like riding a bike. You don't really lose it, thankfully. It's just that the main thing I lose is my familiarity with the engine. I'm not in there every single day. In the different folders and file systems, and all the different ways we've architected things. You're a lot more effective with it when you're in it every day. So I'm not really in it as much. However, I have been writing a lot of code lately. I guess it's just scripting though. I've been writing a lot of stuff for our art pipeline, just like a lot of Python and API stuff for like Maya and stuff like that, just to get our stuff like as fast as I can possibly get it, because that's really the most important thing is that we're getting our pipeline upgraded as much as we can, and there's speed gains to be had that we're aware of when we get them. So that's basically most programming I'm doing at the moment is doing that. We got a lot of characters we're standing up in the coming months, and if we can get our animation systems, ripping a bit faster, if we can get our rigging and, asset pipeline where we're connecting our high-res, low-res, textures, baking processes, all that stuff can get a little bit faster. Every character starts seeing multiplied gains on that, so we really, that's like the main thing I'm focusing on in terms of engineering, just trying to engineer better ways to like make our art pipeline as fast as we can make it. So it's still nice to be able to do some of that stuff, but just gameplay code I'm not writing as much. If I am going to write anything for Disc Jam, it's probably going to be gameplay code, only because it's like, that stuff's pretty simple to be honest. It's like, the crazy low level stuff gets pretty complex, but gameplay stuff is it's pretty straightforward. Precise in here now. Definitely want to have a little kind of like hunchbacky, sort of hunched over old guy look. Go ahead and drop some eyeballs in here. Yeah, I'm pretty over traveling. Used to be a lot more into it. It's just too big of a pain. Bigger forehead here. Ears going. And again, like I said at the beginning of the stream, like ears and noses are the two things that never stop growing as you age. So I'll probably get him some pretty big ears here. Over-exaggerating, obviously, but it's not gonna matter. Just sculpt this all down. Get a little smooth, stronger. What's up, Ash? How was your stream yesterday? Was your stream delayed by the holidays at all? Turn off back face mask so I can actually really dig in there. Still a little too big. Elfish ears. Yeah, I was about 25 minutes late today. Thanks to travel. Just got back in town. Gotta play catch up all week, of course. Top of the ear kind of reach the eyeballs a little bit. Pretty much all the way down to the mouth on this guy. Pulled that brush stroke right through the ear there. Turn down the brush power and move elastic. I'm actually a lot bigger fan of move elastic when it's on, like 19. I might just set the default brush. Stored that way. This ear's a little bit far forward on the head. Whereabouts in Texas are you from, Reg? The key question is it a dry heat or is it a humid heat? Dry heat's a little bit more bearable, being from Las Vegas. It's like 120 there right now, but if it's dry, I can bear it. 85 and humid, can't breathe out there. Pass. Oh man. Don't take care of yourself. It's no bueno. Cute big bubbles. Is it possible to slice something off without damaging either side? It's hard to tell what you mean by that, but I mean, if I wanted to take off these ears, for example, do a trim. I mean, this is also because I'm already in Dynamesh. If you're already in Dynamesh, what that basically means is you can just close holes, re-Dynamesh, and then away you go. It's hard to tell what you mean by damage either side. It depends on when and how, you know, what type of geometry you're working with when you want to cut your mesh up. This needs to be a lot more bulbous than cutting some. Chin's a little too brawly. Yeah, you know, it's really just a sketch for now. Like, I do want to do like an older character, kind of like an old, gruff, kind of almost wearing like a leather head sort of outfit kind of guy. Like some guy who's athletic in the 50s, still thinks he's got it. So yeah, I kind of want to do a character based on that. I don't have any specific ideas right now. I just want to kind of toy around with this a little bit, see if I can't get like an interesting character bust. I like to start with faces. I'm doing a character. If I get a face down that I really like, it really helps me define sort of the personality of what they're going to be. So I kind of want to go for like a grouchy old guy, back in my day kind of guy, but a little bit bronze still, so he has like kind of still put you over my knee, son, kind of feeling to him. And yeah, and I think, you know, we've got a few characters rolling out, and this is one I've been kind of wanting to explore a little bit. I don't have a super clear concept, but I've done some sketches, and I kind of, you know, I just know I want to kind of get a grumpy old guy in there. It just feels like it's a character archetype I think works well in this sort of silly universe of ours. I've been doing a lot of environment stuff the last few weeks. Because he's so exaggerated, though, I keep like finding myself like hugely breaking the proportions, just trying to like figure out stuff. Is there a way to make sculptures hollow? Yeah, there is. I'm trying to remember if it's in ZRemesher, or if it's in like Extract or something. Give me a sec, because I know it's Create Shell. That's what it is. So like Dynamesh will, you know, obviously give you like the fresh geo, and you know, redistribute your polygons over your mesh after you've done a little bit of sculpting. If I wanted to make this into a sort of like, you know, piggy bank or a porcelain doll or something like that, Create Shell with thickness of 4. Create Shell requires a submesh insert, which will then be used as the opening for the shell. We insert a submesh and try again. Yeah, I haven't done this in a while, but maybe it has to do with maybe. I think this might need to be half empty, this cylinder here, but let's give it a shot. Insert is opening for the shell. I think perhaps I need to do a primitive that's half open insert mesh to be the opening. Just when there's a insert half. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's also just these are the half primitives. It also can mean just like do an alt, like hold alt when you drag it out. That might be all you gotta do. Yeah, that was it. So as you can see, like I cut into it with a negative shell. Now this whole entire thing has geometry on both sides. You can see all the way through it. If I sculpt there, it should come through on the other side. But yeah, that create shell feature, and then all you gotta do to break through, you know, that existing piece is do an IMM brush, do an insert mesh of some kind. There's plenty that come with ZBrush. Take a sphere, hold Alt, that's sort of the negative space there. Clear mask, create shell. There you go. Now he's got a nice little shell opening, and that's about what you do there. Hollow sculpture. There you go. Got a proportionate bit, so I let go of symmetry, mirror and weld that over, symmetry back. This guy's the funniest looking guy. Guy from Seinfeld. It's kind of the loose inspiration I have for this guy. Just a lot of character in his face. He's really funny looking. Yeah, there's a lot of things in the programs, in this program. I mean, there's so much, and I've been using it for quite some time, and there's just way more stuff for me still to kind of wrap my head around here. so mushy. Flesh everywhere. It's so hard to tell like where definition should go because it's just nothing but saggy flesh everywhere on all people. Looks like an old dude. I think it's kind of getting there. I think I want to get like just super big bushy eyebrows. Maybe like a tuft of thick white hair. Kind of a little, I still got it, really big white mane. Sort of like an old fighter pilot maybe. Hey Big Bug, I pretty much only stream on this channel, but this is our disc jam game. That's our channel for our company, me and Jay. We do dev streams over there, but they're mostly video game related, not as art related. I do all my art streaming here on Pixelogic's channel. So, of course, as always, feel free to, if you have any questions, just fire away. Starting to sort of occupy that certainly grouchy looking, but still maybe kind of formidable old man look. I think I'm starting to kind of dial it in a little bit. I cut a little bit too hard with that brush though. Back that off. Sometimes it's tricky when you're in sketch mode because you know you're working kind of loose. Sometimes you start banging out the details that were actually already working because you're trying to establish some other shapes and you're being kind of reckless. I got the smooth, stronger brush and I got some pretty heavy brushes I'm working with. with the lips a little bit, but you know, every time you mess something up, it's an opportunity to sort of get it right again, do it a little bit differently, learn a little bit better. If you end up blowing that, then just undo all the way back and try again. This is still pretty early anyway. I'm still kind of not sure where I want these lips to go. All I know is I want there to be more shape there because I'm going to probably do like a big bushy mustache as well. Yeah, grumpy old man attitude. Yeah, Reggie. Hopefully it's coming through. It's kind of what I'm going for here. This salty old guy. Salty dog. Smooth Stronger is probably a little too aggressive a brush. Just keep overcorrecting with it. Thanks, Reg. Appreciate that. Kind of makes me laugh mostly because I'm looking at this old dude. Like my reference is all this like this really funny old guy, and every time I kind of pull back and take a look at this, just I don't know, makes me laugh. It's kind of silly. I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna grab a quick drink of water here. It's 1:30. I'll go a little bit over today to make up for the time I was late, and you know, see how far I get with this guy. We'll grab a quick drink though. Be right back.
It's me. I'm running away from this pain. I'm trying to find a new way where the sun's shining down on my face. I'm running away. You're in a toxic relationship. Time to be free.
Pull some hair off this guy.
I'm running away from this pain. I'm trying to find a new way where the sun's shining down on my face. I'm running away. You're in a toxic relationship. Time to be free.
When you do Dynamesh, not Dynamesh, when you use Damien Standard to do like hair, as I've just done, it tends to get a little wobbly like that. You see a little wobble there, and it's like doesn't. I mean, that's just the nature of the brush. So you gotta just keep an eye out for that. A lot of times a quick taper down will preserve some of the strokes, and you can go back in there with a clean stroke, and it'll have a softer surface to sort of play with. shell. I'm just gonna grab brush with back face masking on. Just go in here and pull this down towards the skull. Doesn't need to be like a shell. Just nicer, it doesn't like pull away from the surface. Should probably start with a sphere as opposed to an extraction. Because I just had geometry all lined up, but it's no big deal. It's easy enough to just close this things up. It's still in the sketch phase, so I'm still working kind of loosely. Maybe like an old version of him. Thanks, Reg. Yeah, it's like I want to kind of have it be like he's still got a strong head of hair, still got a pretty strong job, but he's like 80. I want to kind of capture like this dude here with like his it's just so crazy and out. I want to see if I can like this one. This dude's like a little bit more collected with his hair. It's like it'll be like bleach white, you know, but you know, there's still something to it that says like, you know, he's like a little bit more put together, which I think might be better because he is meant to be playing a sport at a high level. rein in a little bit. But we'll see. See how silly he gets. Time to tell. Okay guys, how do you prepare your character for rigging? Well, depends on what exactly, what stage exactly you're talking about. One thing, people tend to do is they pose their model in an A pose, so their arms are kind of relaxed but a little bit of bend to the elbows. That helps you sort of define just the overall feel and shape of the character. It lets them they're a little bit more relaxed. You can the model kind of reads clearer there. But with Motion Builder, which is what I use to animate, it expects them to be in T pose. So a lot of times I'll model in the T just to help my rigging process go along a little bit faster. But I mean, if you're talking about the full pipeline, there's essentially a million ways to go about that. You got the high resolution geo, which is what I'm playing with right now. Then you want to take it down to low resolution geometry, of course, where it's instead of 250,000 polygons, you're down to maybe 30 to 130,000, depending on your engine and game. And then from there, it's really just a matter of getting your UVs, getting all of your edge loops defined so that when you skin the model, you're not finding out that, oh, I need more geometry in the shoulder, or there's edge loops missing from his waist, and all of a sudden it's not going to animate well no matter what I do. If you're fighting against bad geometry, doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be in big trouble. So those are all the things you want to keep in mind. If you have any specific question, I can tell you the answer to it, but how to prepare for rigging. There's 100 steps how you prepare a character for rigging. What's up? This is for our game Disc Jam. Just a character for a video game that I'm working on. There's a link to it. Cinematic pipeline. No, I can't say that I do. I never worked on in cinema in any way. Yeah, I've only ever worked in games, but you know, I've studied how some of that stuff goes down. You know, when you have unlimited polygon budgets and you can render overnight and do things like that. You know, seen some of those characters get rigged, and yeah, I think the main difference is it's just a lot more. Yeah, I won't say time-consuming because games are obviously quite time-consuming, but you know, with the fact that you're going to want to maximize your deformations, and when you're doing cinematic stuff, and even when you're doing cinematic rigs for games, you know, a lot more bones. You want blend shapes, and you know, a lot of secondary motion. You want to have, you know, physically driven bits and articulated bits that you simulate and then bake out. There's a lot of things you want to do to sort of drive the realism way up. Whereas with a game animation, game rig, it's just a matter of, you know, does it deform correctly? Does the ragdoll hold up? You know, are these animations, when played at double speed, going to look okay? Things like that. So different requirements for sure. I guess the main thing I'd say is that like video games are not 100% about the look. They're more, there's a layer, there need to be about functionality, whereas cinematics are, you know, obviously 100% about the look. I mean, you just got to look as good as possible. It's got to tell that story. It's got to be easy to work with by your animators. Yeah, didn't you show me this last week, Luther? Or a few weeks back? This is the ogre, right? Looks like it's coming along. A lot of really good detail there. I like how you can. I like how the skin pores. Did a really good job detailing the skin pores and the different folds of the skin, because a lot of times people just paint that all over everything. A lot of time people just paint the uniform skin pore texture all over the face, but the pores by the nose and the pores by the eyebrow and the pores by the lip especially, you know, they're all very, very different in the human face. So yeah, you're really doing a good job of capturing that with that ogre job. Looks like it's coming along. I definitely think Blizzard cinematic trailers are the best in the business. I think that they're just leaps and bounds above everybody else. I really love when they release new stuff. Man, they've always, I feel like they've just always been tops at that. Even when I was younger, World of Warcraft 2, when those trailers would come out, it was like nothing I'd ever seen before. Mustache covering it up a little bit. Snipbic, and I usually start with a little ball of clay. This was just a sphere at the start of this stream about an hour and a half ago. Just a ball of clay, and then started just sort of trying to feel out that old guy vibe. I rarely use Maya for base mesh anymore. I really use Maya for you know, what's the word? Like I don't start there anymore. Like box modeling and base mesh stuff. I still of course use Maya for a lot of things, great many things. But I tend to just get, like, for when I'm doing like the very, very, very early stages, it's just a lot more creatively freeing to do ZBrush. Even if I'm doing like environmental hard surface stuff, I'll start in ZBrush because I can do a lot more with the ZModeler brush. There we go. There's that little jolly look I'm going for. I can do a lot more in ZBrush with just like getting block out shapes in place and trying to, you know, find the shapes that stand out to me. getting a little too aggressive with this. Smooth stronger. Yeah, snapping exactly. Like, I'll be in ZBrush for a while, I'll get the high poly down, and then I'll jump over to Maya for retopology. Sometimes I'll do some retopology in ZBrush. It all kind of depends, but yeah, you got it. That's basically what I do. I'm probably right on the border now of not enough geometry. Starting to run into some chunky polygons and details starting to get hurt by it. Might be time to subdivide, but yeah, I still got a lot of work to do in terms of finding out other shapes. So I don't want to subdivide too early. Still have to like work out how the cheek meets the eyeball and all that. Looking alright though. Not sure. Zeus from Dota 2. Zeus, Dota 2. Not a Dota player. But yeah, this is a bit of the look, isn't it? Anytime you do like an archetypal character, like a lot of our characters are pretty archetypal, you know what I mean? They're not, they're all pretty like, you know, one-note reads, I like to say. And whenever you kind of are working in that fashion, you know, there's going to be a MOBA that's got that character, you know what I mean? It's like, I think League of Legends and Dota and all the other MOBAs out there, it's like Fire Guy, Stealth Ninja Blade Guy, and Pirate Girl, and it's like you kind of always got those sort of archetypes present. You know, bushy old guy is definitely not a look I invented. But yeah, this guy, the way I think of this guy, he's more like retired fighter pilot, maybe. You know, like. Do I go off 2D concept? It depends, Snippic. Like, there's a few characters it kind of really does depend. This is basically all I had for this one was kind of like, this was like a 2-second sketch that I did. Bring it up here. It really does depend though. Like, here's one of our other characters that I kind of did a little bit more concepting, but it was essentially started off as just a she's like our ninja fast character, right? Like we knew we wanted a character that was all full of speed, like a speed centric. That was like the main selling point. So like her shoes were gonna light up, and she was gonna look like stealthy and speedy and just rip really fast. So that's how that's like basically the only concept I did for her. I guess I did a turnaround as well. I did something like that. So like there's other stuff we do, but this guy I didn't really do much for this guy. I just knew I wanted to do kind of an old kind of guy, bushy eyebrows, bushy beard, a lot of wrinkles, but still kind of like solid and thick. Like he's like one of these old toughs who's like, oh, I can still kick your butt, young man, and all that kind of one of those kind of grouchy old guys who's like still ready to kind of run with the young kids and talk about back in his day. About old folks, they get so much just extra loose skin and folds. That in their face is kind of everywhere. It's not really well defined. Yeah, indexes is just, well, as I said in the beginning of the stream, I just kind of running a little late, traveling from town today, and just wanted to sketch some organic sculpts, and it's a character I've had in my head for a while. I want to see if I can get him down, not on paper, so to speak, but like get him out of my head, start looking at him in real life. So just figured I'd mess around today, do some concepting. We've got several other characters on the way that are, obviously much farther along than this guy. This is just the first work I've done on this guy is today. Just something that, like I said, something I knew I wanted to kind of tinker with. What's going on, Doug? Yeah, it's definitely, I think, a character people can like relate to. Like let's say, for those of you guys who are just joining, like here's basically like, here's like the guy I keep picturing, only like a little bit less, batty old guy in a nursing home. But that guy from Seinfeld, just like a crotchety old dude. Here's actually a solid picture of him right here. Something like that, where it's just like. You get like the jowls, you get the kind of bushy mustache out of it, squinty old eyes, all baggy, covered with old skin and stuff. That's kind of the look. Really bushy, kind of old guy. But this guy's a little bit more formidable, a little bit more, like I said, like retired, Air Force captain. Makes a lot of sense to me. It's just a guy who's got some toughness left in him, but clearly showing his age a little bit. Might be like, all of our characters are pretty silly, and we tend to make fun of them, kind of, if we can, really. I mean, without any dialogue, there's not a lot of chances to choose opportunity or personality, but, you imagine kind of like a grumpy old man sound effects when he's doing everything in the game, and kind of moves a little bit slower, but maybe he's a little strong still, got that old man strength or something. You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But like I said in the beginning of the stream, one of the main things I need to do is like finding a sort of look and feel to match what I'm thinking for the gameplay is what I'm trying to kind of do right now. It's like, you know, try to just kind of like dig in and see if I can find a personality. And I think, to be honest, like I think that I'm kind of getting there. I think that this dude, for better or for worse, has a decent amount of personality already, and that's good because it's still super early. I haven't really knocked down his character. Without eyes and eyeballs, you're pretty limited in what kind of personality you're gonna squeeze out of a character, because so much of the character is in the eyes. I mean, 2D or 3D artists will tell you that's the most important part. It's hard to argue with. Also, as I said in the beginning, the ears and the nose are the two things that never stop growing. So you'll see, you know, Disney characters, for example, Pixar characters, really stylized old people. They always have huge ears and huge noses, because those features keep growing on the face as you age. Opposite can be said for characters you want to look young. If you want to make characters that are infant aged, babies especially, but even like toddlers and even kids, you know, you make tiny little perky noses and cheekbones and tiny little ears in the back of their heads you barely see. That's an easy way to convey youth, because it can be tricky when you're doing stylized looks. For example, like, you know, our characters are decently detailed, certainly not photorealistic detail, but there's a decent amount of detail in our characters, and so we can, you know, the absence of wrinkles or presence of wrinkles and skin detail is a good way to sort of communicate age. But if you're doing a cartoon, you're doing a really hyper stylized look, you're not doing wrinkles and texture maps of that nature, you know, you really gotta find other ways to communicate stuff like age, because if you put any wrinkles, especially on females, if you put wrinkles on female characters, you're just adding 5 years with every single wrinkle you put in there. But, you know, of course, in reality, pretty much women of all age have some wrinkles somewhere. So it's deciding how you define that, or suggest age in other ways is really important. You don't like his friendly mutton chops. I don't know if the mutton chops signal like friendliness. I think it signals like, you know, I can still, even though his hair will be bleach white and kind of stringy, you know, he wears it because, you know, he's still got it, kind of thing is how I see it. Like, he's like a grouchy old guy who's like, you know, still wearing his mutton chops the way he did when he had a Harley, maybe. You know, like, that's what I'm thinking anyway. Don't have a particular person in mind, and certainly don't have a particular backstory. It's all pretty abstract. You guys can probably tell already. And to be honest, I'm not really entirely sold on the mutton chops either. You know, if I turn them off real quick and show it, like, you know, he certainly looks a lot older without them. You know, you can kind of sell those kind of jowls and stuff like that. You know, obviously it's got sculpted away when I was doing the mustache, but you know, he still has to look kind of tough because he is a bit of a, he's gonna be a bit of a badass. thing with old folks that like there's just so much baggy skin that like there's not these hard creases. Like all the skin is just kind of like mashed up against each other. It's like all the like little nooks and crannies that sort of like thinner person's face would represent. An old character, it's like they're just, especially this character I'm looking at, especially this, what's his name, Bill Irwin. Find the temple a little bit better. The way the skull kind of rounds out right there. One of the more interesting parts of the cranium. Just part of the eyes right here. Just dug that in a little better. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, those little, that extra little eye bag and might wrinkle this up a lot more. It's already kind of reading a lot better in terms of its age. Got a lot of work to do here on the shapes, obviously. These are not quite successful oblong, convex shapes. It's already adding a lot to this sort of age of the character. What I need it to do. It's important too to check the character from all angles. Every now and then I forget to do that. I realize I'm barking up the wrong tree with some stuff. There's angles in which it catches no light and you expect it to. So it informs those little micro adjustments that let you kind of start laying it down. lowering that flap of skin for the cheek just makes the whole thing feel a little saggier, which automatically just keeps that aged feelings. When you get older, things start dropping. Not bad so far. I'm pretty happy with it, actually. Never really done an old character before. Alright, see you later, man. Thanks for stopping by.
I could stay like this, forever following you. Just don't get too
Give this guy a little PolyPaint while we're here. Alright, so this is skin color spray. It's my standard RGB. I'll be like a light pink base.
I just want us to always be, to always be.
Orange color out here.
Let's stay here, let's stay here in love. Let's stay here, let's stay here in love.
Really red. Because his skin's so thin, I suppose. It's real red around like the chin. All these areas where the skin's not very thick. Really thin skin on the ears, foreheads. Cheeks are nice and white, but thin on the chin there, on the ears, back of the neck a little bit. So you start laying in where the blood underneath the skin will sort of seep through. Start knocking it back a little bit. also a great veins brush you can do. I stick with this and I do a drag rectangle. Drag out just like a veiny alpha. It's 22. 58 works as well, I think. So see, that's kind of like a bluish, little just kind of vein draw out. It's subtle, but it's definitely there. It's really good to do that around the areas where the skin's thin. Most of these veins I put in there are obviously going to be painted out, but it's good just to get them down. This is still pretty much a base layer. Wondering why my alpha was not behaving correctly. I'll never guess. I obviously changed alphas. I did all those veins.
I'm lost in the night. We can do my life. Night is away.
Reset all my brushes, so I just get back to what I'm working with here. Skin color spray. Now I'll be able to come back through. Start getting those orange hues in. Make it a little bit less of a pink looking thing. Still only at RGB 10. And you gotta remember too, I got probably some good amount of subdividing to do on this character still, and some refinement, but getting this base poly paint there is gonna help. Just let me visualize how he's gonna look. Always when you're working in the early stages, it's like so much about visualization and like getting your idea out of your head, because then you can adjust, you can polish. But a lot of times the hardest thing to do is get that idea translated to paper, or something tangible rather. still have those little specks of veins popping through, which is why it's good to lay down that base layer. So many different hues. I want to come in here with a green in a minute, just to think it'll help the overall palette of the thing. Programming a game with Unity and the graphics are still the biggest problem. Yeah, we felt the same way when we evaluated UE4 and Unity. Working with Blender, working great but not optimal. Another question, are the models made with ZBrush a lot more resource intensive, more polygons, etc.? Is it possible to make animations in ZBrush itself or export to the Blender and do the animations there? Yeah, no problem. A couple things. One, we can certainly do low mesh and retopology things in ZBrush. For example, I did these last week just for some environment props. You know, I did a few of these to kind of dress our environment up with. This is all low, but these are game resolution ready. Like I can texture these, throw them into the game, and they'll be ready to go. There's only probably a few thousand, maybe like 5 to 10,000 polygons per bin. Here's another one. This one's really low poly. I mean, there's hardly any polygons in this one. So you can do low poly stuff in ZBrush for sure. But really where it stands out is it stands out as a tool for doing really quality high poly work. It's the best tool I'd say on earth for high poly mesh work. It does not do animation. It's not an animation tool. The best you could probably do is you can certainly you can sculpt with layers. If I put a layer on something, so let's do a new layer, and then let's inflate the guy. You know, now the dude's all inflated, right? That's on a layer now. So I can make that layer go negative. I mean, I can animate just like, you know, if you wanted to like animate him blowing up, like he would like fill up with air and then blow up, right? You could certainly do something like that. There's a number of things you can do with layers. I mean, I don't need to do, you know, that per se. I could do something like, you know, you mask out the arm, raise the arm up. You know, if I raise the arm out, for example, that's on a layer 2 now. So like, you know, turning the layer down would like raise that arm. See how the arm's raising up and down right now? You can put all that stuff on layers, and then you could bake out the layers as a Maya blend shape. Of course, you're using Blender, so that wouldn't work for you. But like, it's just basically a workflow to get morph targets, also known as blend shapes, out of ZBrush. And a lot of people use that for static animation. They use that for static mesh animation. Things like environment props that wobble, or maybe if you did a fish, or you did like, you know, like twisting tendrils on something. Like you can do morph targets and export them out of ZBrush as mesh deformers, and those morph targets can then be used as those blend shapes rather could be used as animation in your engine. As far as like articulated animation, like characters that have bones and rotate and stuff like that, ZBrush doesn't really do that. You'd have to use an external package like Blender for that. But ZBrush is where you do your high poly sculpt. Like this mesh is 268,000 with the eyeballs and everything. That's gonna be too much for a video game, especially just for a bust. I mean, and this is low resolution. I'm gonna take this up to, you know, 15 million polygons. You know, when I start doing the wrinkles and getting the guy really kind of, you know, cleaned up and ready for export. So anyway, all that being said, you certainly can do low poly stuff in ZBrush, and even low poly organic stuff. Like, let me save my project real quick. Like this guy's right here. You know, a decent good start would be grab some ZRemesherGuides. Paint decent loops around the places that need loops, like his eyes and mouth. Things like that. I think I definitely want edge loops going that way, edge loops going this way. Just the places that the eyeball would sort of need, not eyeball, but the facial topology we need. Then just do a ZRemesh and shoot, try to take it down to like 100. And what that'll do is it'll generate a low poly mesh for you based on your existing geo. And it might not be a full ready to animate, deformable mesh, but I mean, look at that. That's really, really good. Now it's only 1,000 polygons, which is more than enough for a face. It didn't respect my edge loops there, but I can clean that up in Maya. It captured the space really well, and now all of that geometry I can project this detail onto that detail, and very, very quickly I can start away with my low poly version. And then what you do is you UV this, clean up the edge flow, make sure it's got good deformable geo, retopologize it. You can retopologize in right here in ZBrush, but you can also do it in other applications. Then you ship that off to the game engine. So that's basically which one to do for that. No! Oh, it's a good thing I just saved. There goes my file. Restart here. 404 Vault, what's up? How do you deal with low poly modeling in ZBrush? Z modeler until the end, or ZRemesh setter? It depends on organic versus hard surface. Even with hard surface modeling, I'll still bust out ZRemesher because of what a good job it does at. ZRemesher does a really good job if you use keep groups. It does a really good job of preserving the edges if your poly groups are strong. So I'll use if you can check some of my other streams. Here's one that comes to mind. I'm just going to show you an example over here. Characters, shoes. So like this is all. Did I ever move the shoes into her full mesh? I must have. Oh, I stored this character in a project. Well, I can't open this right now because it'll. Oh yes, I guess I can. Hold on a second. Nope. There it is. Okay. So yeah, basically like, I made these shoes for this character. They're still pretty high poly in that there's like a ton of detail there. It's 500,000 right there on that part, but they're also quite low poly too. Like I still have a lot of like detailing to do here, right? But the point of this was like get the shoe to fit her foot perfectly. Make sure the geo on her is accurately fitted to the shoe. And because I know that I'm going to need that to line up just so for the game resolution mesh, right? So then like when I want to go low poly, I think probably the two things that can be, brought together are so that could probably be a single mesh. Merge visible. Right, so like now I have all this. Oops. Add some more geo to this thing so it matches the rest of the mesh. This as well. Split him. Let's get a little more topology. So yeah, so now this is like decent amount of topology. 500,000 for the whole shoe. Merge down, merge down. So now I have this one giant piece here. Give me a Dynamesh with a project and maybe a polish. So now all this thing's welded together. It's 500,000 polygons. All that geometry's welded together. Now if I do adaptive size down to just as tiny as I can, I'll ZRemesh that, and that'll get me a pretty nice low poly shoe. And it's basically doing all of the low poly work that I would usually do by hand. It gets me 90% of the way there, which is, you know, a big time saver. So that's kind of my process for like getting, you know, down to low poly quickly. But if you check some of my other streams, I do a lot of more environment stuff where it's like I do a lot more low poly. Yeah, this obviously didn't work. There's a gap right there. It's going to be causing issues. Go no adaptive size. Take it down to about 1,000. And I'll do ZRemesher line across the whole thing. That'll give me a nice desired edge loop. Curve stroke at 90. Let's try that on for size. I believe the last time I did it without the tongue of the shoe. I think the tongue of the shoe actually causes a little bit of trouble. But I demoed this specific prop before, just to kind of show how to get down to low poly really quickly. Ugh. Yeah, see, it's really fighting the fact that tongue's in there. But you know, you gotta tinker with it a little bit. I got it first try last week, but clearly something different about what I did this time around. But either way, it's a pretty straightforward way to get to the point where you're get your low poly down. And then for environments, deal with more precision low poly modeling in ZBrush, like modular asset kits. It depends. I mean, like, there's a lot of things that you're limited by the fact if you don't have the mouse and keyboard to like precisely select components like vertices, faces, and edges. There's just operations, you know, per model that you might want to do. Every package does things a little bit better, a little bit worse. Like, you know, things like really good radial symmetry tools, and like I like all the different ways you can just like get into the Z modeler brush and get a lot of really interesting base shapes really quickly. And then, you know, the key is just kind of knowing what you're trying to do and get the right tool for the job. Because I do think that, you know, there are times when I can't live without ZBrush. This would be the fastest way for me to create that shape. And there's times where it's like, ugh, I can't possibly create this shape in ZBrush. And like I kind of wrestle with both, you know. Anyway, let me go back to my other project. We've gone over that. But yeah, for the organic stuff though, I think, you know, ZRemesher works really well because it's just like everything's kind of rounded, it's kind of curved, it's gonna follow the edge flow you like, and the edge flow you kind of give it, rather. What's up, Nasurdin? Yeah. Actually, if you want to watch, if you want to run back the tape from the stream, I did all the skin on this guy just about, oh, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes ago. The main thing you want to kind of do and think about is, I'll show you in a second. Let me just get these inner little swirlies of the iris. Take a nice dark brown. So yeah, basically I have a little brush here, skin color spray. You see how it's set up, it's only RGB 10, it's set to spray, stroke, and the brush alpha is 7, right? So what it is I start with like the red, you know, the color of the blood underneath. Basically, like for the old guy, it's a little bit more pink, you know, so maybe a little bit more rosy. And then I painted the whole thing, you know, just like one shade of this, right? I just did the whole thing. You get a lot of nice color variation in it with this brush. It like automatically varies some of the color. You get some different shades in there, and then, you know, I'll take a more of a flesh tone and I'll start getting the areas that I know are going to be, you know, just more skin colored, because they're not as thin skin. There's more meat in the actual flesh tone itself, right? So using this brush, I'll kind of come back through and paint it all back, and then, you know, I'll jump over to drag rectangle, grab this vein brush, and grab kind of like a greenish blue. And it's hard to see, but it's kind of subtle, but they start coming through kind of nice. If you give it enough size, you can start just, you know, bringing in some just kind of varicose veins in places. And it doesn't matter how much, if you want to go crazy with it, because I'm still going to come back through, and that'll all get painted out with like a nice flesh tone. Oops. Standard brush. Skin color brush. Yeah. And then I'll come back in and I'll start kind of shining up the areas that would be just more white. The thing about skin is that skin's got so many different hues in it. So like you probably want to come back in even with like a you know, even like maybe some greens and yellows. But, you know, even that in itself, you know, it's not a bad start. Like, it's already kind of showing a little bit of texture depth. It's got a little bit of, you know, you just start getting that color variation that you want, right? And then like, oh, I've lost a lot of the pink and a lot of the red, so maybe like get a little more reddish, come back down into the lips. Giving them a little bit of attention. That's obviously far too much, but then I'll just grab this, paint that back a little bit. You know, and it's just, you know, it's slow moving, but, you know, it works. The eyelids are not sculpted right. Well, thank you for pointing that out, guy. I know, they haven't been sculpted, so they're just the beginning of some geometry here. Let me see if I can actually click this. The eyelids are just half spheres that I cut around the eye to sort of act as placeholders while I build the rest of this guy up. I mean, it's not like I've spent a ton of time on this guy. This guy was a ball of clay at the start of this stream. So I mean, anywho, I think I will leave it at that. It's after 3 now. Let me drop a quick snapshot of that dude there. And then I'll actually go back to the skin, paint, take it back down to where I had him. I'll throw them side by side. Actually, the one on the left I did a little bit more aggressive with the veins, and I think it actually works a little bit, so I'll probably come back through and be more aggressive with those veins. I think getting those veins to pop through actually looks a little bit better, and the skin tone itself is a little less rosy. So yeah, anyway, grab a snapshot there. Yeah, that's all she wrote for this week, guys. Thanks for stopping on by, checking out the stream. Let's see, you got a question. Is it possible to make this? Yes, that's possible. It's just a character. You can make the mask, you can make the sword, you can make all that stuff. So, yeah, it's possible. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. I'll be back next week. I think we'll maybe do some more of the organic stuff. This is pretty fun today. Yeah, I wasn't really sure what I was going to work on today, so I wanted just to play around with some organic stuff, and maybe we'll come back to this guy and finish him up next week. Anyway, alright guys, good stuff. I'll be back next Thursday, and until then, have a good one.